What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Noodle Time, episode 177. I am your host, Mark Segovia, alongside my co-host, OSG, and today a special guest with us, JC Rubio. How do you want me to call you?
JC's cool. Everyone
JC?
calls me JC, Public Enemy
JC.
on the back
DJ.
of the jerseys. But yeah,
Go DJ. It's your birthday.
no, not a DJ. Don't put me back there again, man. I don't want it.
Oh man, that's cool. So, what do you want us to call you again?
JC's cool.
JC. All right, JC. What's going on, JC? Welcome to the show, man. I appreciate you coming in. Just let people know who you are, man. Just give them a little bit of yourself, a little bit of an intro of yourself.
Yeah, what's up, man? Longtime fan of the Dynamo. Started watching when they came up in Robertson. Just fell in love right away. Got addicted to it, right? It's completely different to any other sports we have in Houston. So
for sure,
I loved it right away, and been part of the Surge as well.
Nice. Shout out to Surge
for 3 years now. So thank you for the invite. Glad to be here and talk Dynamo. So let's do it.
What's your favorite Dynamo moment?
Ooh.
Being in the stadium at Robertson against Pachuca, even though we lost, I mean, it was peak Dynamo. I think that was peak Dynamo. We were, battling it out, regional power. Yeah. That
was the Superliga, right?
Yeah. And I mean, some in Champions Cup, what it was called then. Champions Cup, we faced off against them as well, which was a battle. So great games against Pachuca.
Yeah, man, that's one of the things that I do really miss about the old days. Because obviously we were top of the echelon team in MLS during that time period. So obviously we were involved in a lot of international competitions where we got to play against a lot of the Mexican teams from Liga MX and stuff like that.
And
against those games against Pachuca, against Pumas, I think we had a couple in there with Tigres, and things like that. So
they respected us. We were respected then.
For sure. I mean, especially being the first club to get a point in Mexican soil. So obviously, but
let's go.
Hopefully, we can get back to that consistency and play those international tournaments again on a more constant basis. But OSG, what's going on, my guy? I can't forget about you.
What's up, bro? I'm chilling. I'm hurting a lot right now, but I'm happy we won recently.
This is true. So, and we have a little group chat, JC, in case you don't know. And OSG asked me, "Hey, man, why are you doing things in reverse?" I usually don't do things in reverse, right? I usually do everything from chronological order. So obviously I would start off with the game from Saturday, blah, blah, blah. But I told him, man, you know what, man? We need some positivity. We need some good vibes, and the MLS schedule right now is not anything to be happy about. But we do have victory in our hands from the U.S. Open Cup tournament, round of 32 against El Paso Locomotive. The Dynamo come out victorious 4-1. Against the USL championship side. 4 goals by 4 different guys, 3 first-time goal scorers in this season, which is what you want to see. A lot of people were talking about, especially after the horrible game against Colorado, that this was going to be one of those pick-me-up games that we were going to see a lot of the normal players. I mean, because obviously after suffering such a bad loss and having such a bad taste in your mouth like that, you want to move on to the next game as quickly as possible and hopefully produce a positive effect, which obviously they did. JC, I'm gonna go to you first, my guy. Were you at the game? Did you watch at home? How did you consume the victory?
Yeah, we were there. A lot of the Surge was there. Pitched 25 before the game.
Nice.
Headed to the game. Lackluster turnout. But a lot of good supporters were there. Batallon was there, and also I forget what high school they're from. They had that high school band there.
Yeah, I saw that.
which was great. Great to have them there. They were doing their stuff along with Bataillon, so it was good to have them there. Yeah, I like the atmosphere when they're there. But yeah, attended the game. Got to see Linger's goal right there up front. Beautiful goal, but it was a good show out. It was a good show out. I mean, obviously against a second tier team, but it was a good opportunity for some of these guys that haven't gotten minutes to go out there and kind of strut their stuff.
Haven't got minutes though, but it was just the bench that haven't got minutes. No dose players, no youngsters was
True.
brought up to the first team for this game.
See,
disappointing.
In case you don't know, JC OSG is a big component of the Dynamo Dos players.
Of course.
We support the MLS Next Club and all that good stuff. But I think because of the outcome that happened in Colorado, it's one of those things where like, hey, we need our first team players to go out there and just forget about what happened Saturday and show a good, outstanding result this past Wednesday. And which they did, I think had the Dynamo won in Colorado or maybe even tied, I think we would have had some Dynados, players on the bench, maybe one or two starting or whatever. But unfortunately, because of the result on Saturday, I think that's the way they had to go. And I think Ben Olsen and the coaching staff made the right decision because obviously the outcome now, it's a good outcome. We're on to the round of 16 versus Louisville, which will be here in 2 weeks at Shell. But OSG, let me ask you a question, man. Obviously, the victory obviously is 4-1, a big victory. But the first half was a little shaky, man. If it wasn't for that red card that the Locomotive got, El Paso came to play. They came to play. They had a moment there where they got a wide open shot, hit the post, and could have been 1-1 real easy, and they were attacking. They were aggressive.
They were aggressive, and that's what we expected from them. They're no joke. They were on a 7-game winning streak to begin the season. They haven't been beat. They've been doing very well. 1-2 games prior in the Open Cup. Haven't given up a goal in the Open Cup until today or until yesterday. So yeah, I mean, good for them. I was surprised how we beat them.
Mm-hmm.
But
well, I mean, I think we were on the opposite side of things where the other team got the red card instead of us. I think that helps a lot. So, obviously playing a man down, it's a huge advantage. And obviously when you're playing a team that's on a little bit of a lower tier than what you're normally used to playing, it helps out a lot. But yeah, man.
We were going up.
Yeah, for sure. So obviously, JC mentioned Linger scoring right off the bat too at the second minute. A nice little bicycle kick, whatever. Assisted by Markinich, and then obviously to start off the second half, we got Borges to score right off the bat. So that was good to see our DP get on the score sheet. Then Markinich scored his own goal, and then Borges crossed the ball quite nicely, I might say, to Ponte, which he headed it in to score his first goal of the season for the Dynamo. Just your thoughts on one of the 4 goals, JC. Which one was your favorite? Who are you most happy for?
Man, obviously the Linger one's up there, but I kind of got to give it to Markinich, man. Like, he hasn't. I kind of feel. It's a confidence booster. It can be that kind of jump off point for him to, okay, hey, give me some minutes. I'm going to go in there. I can make things happen. I think he started off slow, but that second half, he was for sure more involved, touching the ball more. So, and then he, those assists he had as well. So, I think it's just a great overall game from him. I think it's a good. I want to see more of him for sure. Elv Linger as well. Linger, said it after the game. I want to, I'm trying to put my name out there as an option for the starting lineup. So, it's hard to choose between those 2 goals, but hopefully that's something that can make these guys, bring something to the team going forward, especially during the league.
Oh, as Joe asked you the same question, man. Obviously, 4 different scores, 4 goals. Which goal are you most which goal score are you most happy for?
Oh man, that's tough because Linger was beautiful right off the bat. The
Mm-hmm.
man's been working his ass off and been like selling himself to Ben real quick and making sure he's happy with Ben. So Ben will play him anywhere because Linger will play anywhere and he's been doing well anywhere. Ben just also said in the press conference he does better as that second forward too. So it's good to see Linger playing well up there. But oh man, it's tough to say which one was my favorite. I'm glad we scored. I'm glad we won. Those are my favorite. All four are my favorite goal.
You just said my favorite's the W, which I can't disagree with you on that one, man. It's especially after the outcome that we had Saturday, man. It was great to see. You spoke about the lackluster attendance, and I think I spoke about this a little bit last show. OSG, I think you might
Yeah.
recall that. I mentioned that, man. Sometimes it might benefit the U.S. Open Cup, and it might benefit the MLS squads as well to start off on the road and let these USL clubs make the gateway money, the match day money or whatever. Because obviously, I think those crowds would be a lot more heavier. And then on top of that, I mean, they're regional crowds. So, I mean, even if you wanted to go travel to El Paso or San Antonio or whichever Texas USL club that we would face in the opening rounds, Dynamo fans are more. It's accessible to Dynamo fans as well, right? It's sad that these crowds are like that for the first couple of rounds. I've always been a component of where, like, man, you know what? It should be like $10 lower bowl, $5 upper bowl seating. Just hey, first come first serve. You sit wherever you want to go sit, and that way you can attract some more people, because hey, a $10 ticket to go sit lower bowl to go watch your professional soccer team, even though it might be against the lower tier. I mean, I think as long as you're getting people with it into the stadium, then you can sell them concessions and all that stuff. They might go to the team shop and buy a shirt or a jersey or whatever, and there you go. I think that's how you go about building a fan base and bringing back the people that you lost back into the stadium, man. You use these cup tournaments to kind of, you know what? I know that the cheapest ticket for MLS is, the supporter section, and I might not be a big fan of standing the whole game and having, all the noise around me. So, like, hey, if I can get a $10 ticket on the lower bowl to go sit down and watch my team, that's awesome, dude. I mean, especially for a family of 4, not a bad idea,
I feel like if our performance starting off the year was a bit better showings. I mean, to begin the year, I feel like they had great attendance in these league games. People were showing out, excited, and we just couldn't get these big results. And then the results started getting worse, and I feel like it's just gonna snowball, and we're gonna see that in attendance, unfortunately, unless the team can turn it around, get some good results, get some W's, and kind of bring those people back.
I'll tell you what happens, and this is a trend that I've been noticing over the last couple of years, is that when the Dynamo attract a huge crowd or even a sellout crowd, because obviously the game against LAFC was a sold out crowd because of Sun, right? That's when they falter and they just let the ball. They just lose sight of what needs to be done, and they falter. When they have the opportunity to catch the casual fan, they don't do what they need to do. But it is what it is. But we'll get to MLS here in a bit. Louisville City is going to be our next opponent in round 16. They beat Austin FC 2-1. I don't know if any one of you guys watched the game. I sure didn't, because I don't give a shit about Austin FC, so they can rot in hell. Those guys obviously were scared to face us back to back at the end of the month. So I mean, it is what it is. It's all good. We're going to host at the end of the.
Well, they lost.
But just kind of happy to see Austin out. They were a finalist last year. kind of bittersweet. I mean, I would have loved to see us beat them and knock them out since they knocked us out last year. But it is what it is. Any thoughts on Austin FC or Louisville City as far as the next team?
Austin's got some firepower to him. So for them to lose to Louisville, not sure who they started, not sure what team, B team, A team, who they played, but I would just not take Louisville for granted. We've lost to USL teams in the past few years, so
yeah.
Obviously, you want to give time to some of these guys who don't get minutes during league play, but still, I would take it seriously. I would like to make a run in the U.S. Open Cup.
For sure.
I like the tournament. I would like to make a deep run. So,
look, Austin was Austin, and they played their players, and they lost to a better team. And Louisville's a good USL team who makes a run every year. Expect them to be in the running for the USL Championship. They're a very good team, and they outperformed. They were up 2-0 early. 2-0 early and put Austin away. Austin came back late and scored one. Tried to put the pressure on. I did watch the game because I do want to see what our opponent was next. And Mark, I was looking forward to that back-to-back in Austin, and then on Wednesday, 3 days later, in Houston. I was looking forward to back-to-back dubs. So I'm so disappointed them bitches couldn't fucking finalize their friggin' situation and get there. So we won. They didn't. Here we are. So, but Louisville is no joke. So do not take it as a joke. They're a strong team. They're gonna bring their game. I question Ben. Push the attack and put the game on Louisville's back and make them make the game in their regard. Otherwise, we're going to lose.
Yeah, I mean, obviously on paper, when you see an MLS club paired up against a USL club, obviously the advantage kind of automatically goes to the MLS club. MLS and this round of the 32 to 13-3, there's 3 MLS clubs that lost. It was Sporting KC, Austin, and I think it was DC United. That's what it was. So obviously USL, they're no joke. I mean, you have a lot of players that play in that league that were former MLS players.
Relegation.
For former MLS players, former players from around the world and stuff like that. That league is growing itself as well, and they're doing a lot of great things as far as like being promoting promotion and relegation, which is something I think MLS does need. But well, I mean, that's another topic for another day. But as far as everything goes, I mean, obviously gaining Louisville City FC as our next opponent at home for the round of 16, it kind of makes it, we can kind of look. I mean, obviously, I'm not saying look past them and look ahead, but it gives us a nice, clear shot to make a nice little run, and hopefully go on to maybe lift our 3rd U.S. Open Cup. I know.
I'm choking because 7 games in 21 days. That's what it is right now. We just played 2 back-to-back, so don't look ahead because we're playing Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday for the next 3 weeks, counting the week that we just played. So no looking ahead. Be careful with your roster. Ben played the subs. I was going to call them the buds for some reason, but the subs. And then Saturday will be the starters, and then Wednesday will be the subs. Hoping some those players can get involved in that situation to give some relief to some players, but we'll see. Ponce needs every minute he can get to score some friggin' goals.
Well, if not, I heard JC has a former Dynamo's player's number named Bossy out there. He might be able to get picked back up.
What's he going to do? Score penalties?
Oh, man. It's all good, but hey, shout out to me and Bossy out there, supporting the group,
Let's go, man.
Yeah.
Let's go, Bossy.
I mean, he was out and about on town. Came to hang out with us at the Phoenix, who are they're big Dynamo supporters there. So he came to hang out with us at watch party. It was a good time.
and then at the game.
Yeah, he didn't buy his shots, which is weird. I didn't know. Come on.
Hey man, he's
what was the
broke,
round of
bro. He ain't
shots?
got a job,
Bro,
JC.
that guy got a nice. That guy got a nice contract.
Rent's
man.
money doesn't go well in America here, and he was at the game last night.
Man.
Somebody was taking care of him.
Gotta enjoy the free time off when you got it, man. So, but with that being said, obviously it was good to see the Dynamo on the winning side of things. Obviously good to see them advance in the U.S. Open Cup. We'll be hosting. I'm not sure. I think it's the last week of April. It'll either be Tuesday or
Wednesday night, 7:00, April 29th.
April 29th. You heard it from
7:00.
7:00 against Louisville City FC.
Live. Foxtrot game day will be there. Herman and OSG in attendance.
Oh, there you go. You heard it here first. But let's get back. Let's get back to reality. Let's get to the MLS season and let's talk about this past Saturday game against Colorado, man. OSG, we got it wrong. We got it wrong, my guy.
Big time.
We were completely off our predictions. It was nowhere close to what we thought it was going to be. It was a complete disaster from every angle, basically. The Colorado Rapids beat the Dynamo 6-2. And to be honest, I mean, if I'm being fair, man, dude, should have been like 10 goals Colorado could have scored on the Dynamo, but it is what it is. 6-2 defeat. JC, I'm gonna come to you, man. Obviously, you were at the Phoenix during this disaster. You just let us know. What was the mood like? I mean, obviously, when as a fan base and obviously a supporter and part of the Surge as a supporter group, obviously, where those fans we're in it, regardless if we're winning or losing. Obviously, look, we're doing a podcast here. We don't get paid for this. We do it out of the love for the team and stuff like that. But obviously, it's a bit disappointing to see that kind of outcome, man, and to just get derailed the way we got and to be outmaneuvered in every which way. Your thoughts on the game, JC?
Yeah, we're lucky we had a lot of alcohol around because that's the only way we were able to get through that night. Yeah, I mean, it's tough to watch when you think, okay, this could probably be one of those turnaround games. We were pretty good at away from home last season, so maybe bring some of that here, but not the case at all. I mean, I gotta say, just some bad games on the just overall bad game by a lot of players on the defensive side. Couldn't control the ball, couldn't keep possession, easy turnovers, miscontrolling. It was. There's not a lot of good I could take out of that game, but very tough to see. Some of us are saying, warrants. Those kind of games where you can start looking at your coaching staff and saying, hey, okay, we're not going anywhere towards the direction we need to go. You've had enough time to figure this out. So clock's ticking. We need to figure it out.
JC, I want you to feel comfortable here, my guy. Speak freely. If you feel like you got something to say it with your chest, man. There's no fear here, man. We got your back. OSG, how did you consume the game, and what was your thought process during the whole disaster?
Holy hell, what the F? What the F? Disappointing in the defense 100%. I know Andrade gave up one, but shouldn't have been in there. What was the other? The penalty kick late. Hector Herrera, why are you doing that foul at the 95th plus minute to give him one extra goal? Come on, stupid. Just, you know what? End the game and drink your shot and enjoy it. But it was a disappointing performance, and we should have done better. Expecting better. We've been in Colorado. We know they're a tough team. They're a tough team at home. We expected better. We needed better.
Yeah, I mean, if I can recall, I think your prediction was 2-1 Dynamo. Mine was 3-2 Dynamo. Yeah, it was an unfortunate thing because we thought that obviously Colorado. I mean, they've always been a menacing team. They've always been like a middle of the pack team, and when I mean middle, like more towards the lower middle. And so, you thought, okay, maybe this can be one of those games where, like, hey, you're on the road,
Lost their 2 red cards.
you're away from the distractions of home and whatever's going on over there. Obviously, the loss against Seattle at home was a tough pill to swallow. So, go on the road. It's you against the whole city. And sometimes when you get involved in that type of environment, it brings the best out of you. But obviously, they were not up for it. The defense was. I'm gonna just call it what it is. It was horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing really you could say about it.
So
It was bad. Just from every aspect. I mean, you mentioned Andrade. That was a disaster. I mean, but just from every which way, man. Honestly, I mean, like, I think the Rapids had such open range and so much free space up the middle that they, like I said, if they were a more lethal team, like if this was LAFC, like for sure they would have scored double digit goals on us. Just because they weren't as lethal as other teams, but they still managed to put 6 on us, and it just goes to show, man. It's just, man, it
it's
was
just one of those games, Mark, where the universe says they're going to score goals on us.
No, for sure.
They're going to keep scoring goals, and there was nothing you can do about it. Reese came in, and he gave up 2 goals immediately. Immediately, the first one, oh, you got beat. Let the dude's going to goal, got beat, and gave up the assist. But oh man, it was a tough game. Period. Tough game.
Yeah. So the only real positive to take out from this, and I mentioned this last week,
Nolly.
and I mentioned this about you last week, that that I fear that we're leaning too much on Guilherme and the left side of the attacking, which is Guilherme and Anali, and ironically enough, Guilherme and Anali are the goal scorers for this game, and the right side of the offense is nowhere to be found, which is obviously Borges, Holmes, and those guys, Linger, and all that good stuff, and obviously Borges being our big transfer player to come in, hasn't shown up, hasn't really done anything since the game's winning goal against Portland, and it's starting to become worrisome for me. JC, obviously, like I said, look, he scored against El Paso, which is great. Hopefully, it builds confidence for him. But what's going on? I mean, like for Guilherme and Anali to be such a great tandem on the left side, and for the right side to be just such the opposite. What do you think it is?
I mean, look, I do see positives on for Bogus. I think he drops down a lot, grabs the ball, brings it up. My issue is Guilherme has an Ali next to you, right? You have firepower next to you. It frees you up. People can't just hone in on Guilherme. You can't just hone in on Enali. Bogus doesn't have that on the other side. McGlynn would be nice to have him there helping him out. McGlynn has that threat from outside the box. But when you have Holmes, Aliyu, those guys there next to you on the right side, I mean, you don't feel any threat for those guys. So you can kind of just focus on Bogus. And even with that, he still manages to find space, move the ball around. I mean, obviously, do we want more? Obviously. And he played well yesterday in the U.S. Open Cup. He kind of came in and gave like a kind of new spark and was very active, was on the ball a lot. But yes, he does. We need to get more from him, but I do think he needs some help on that side.
I mean, one can say, if I'm playing devil's advocate here, because of how great of a start to the season and to this Dynamo career Guilherme has had this season, that the main focus would be on him, thus opening up the right side for Borges to have more opportunity. Look, I watch the games. I'm at the games, and I see Borges handle the ball, and he's a great handler of the ball. He can dribble, and sometimes, and I see that he's a lot bigger than a lot of defenders, so he can muscle those guys around and move them out the way. But it's just I'm not sure what's going on. Like, it's just one of those things where he does everything up until it comes time to scoring the ball.
For
You
sure.
know,
I
everything is going in the right trajectory, but then when it
Yeah,
comes time to shoot and scoring the ball,
fair.
nothing happens.
I do think he needs to be more aggressive and pull the trigger more.
Hmm.
I think he did a little bit of that yesterday. He kind of sailed a few balls, but I do agree. He needs to finish. You need to finish when that's where you're getting paid for, when that's your position. Once you in that position, you did all the work. The whole team did all the work. They got you in that position to take a shot. You need to finish, and you're right. He's not doing it.
What do
OSG,
we do on Noodle Time, Mark? What do we do on Noodle Time? We keep it real. We eat our
keep it real.
noodles with our spices. What the fuck is Ponce doing?
Well, that's what I
He
was about to
does
ask. I was
not
about to ask you
do
about this.
nothing, bro. Bogus needs a striker in front of him to perform. Sorry, to perform in the manner that he needs to perform. And Ponce does not fit with Ben's strategy or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Whatever it is, bro. Whatever it is. It looked better yesterday, but Bogus knows I don't got to feed this guy, so he tried better. Markinich is all over the place and trying to work. So it's different. Give Bogus a striker who knows what he's doing. Ponce does not fit with this. Maybe the coach does not fit with this and Ponce does. I don't know. How long's that leash? But Bogus could do better if there's somebody better in front of him to touch and go, to feel, to. Oh man, it sucks when you don't have a 9. You don't have and
I don't
you
see
can.
why not play Bogus at Ponce's position and then maybe get Linger in on that right side or vice
Well,
versa.
put Linger up top
Whatever,
there. That's what
whatever.
we might be leading to. Ben loves Linger. Ben has talked about Linger in several press conferences now. How much he does what he does. Herman asked him in the last press conference how he's doing. This is his preferred position, is playing that second forward. He'll play whatever he wants to play, and he is doing whatever he needed to do at practice. Linger
He
might be
was,
the guy to put
yeah.
up there. Ponce
Linger,
needs to be on the bench. Markinich can come in. He'll shoot the friggin' ball. He'll hustle more. You saw it last night in the Open Cup.
yeah,
Come on. I mean, $8 million? Ted, whatever.
yeah.
You're
Linger
about to
was
sell the dash for 140. You're going to make that $8 million back.
yeah. Linger was a menace up top yesterday. I wouldn't be against trying him there. Maybe that
That's
link up
not the
with
solution,
Bogus.
though. To back me up, that's not the solution. We still need a solution. Linger is just, thank you, help me out.
Yeah, I mean, Linger. Obviously, it's true. What they said in the press conference that Linger's best position is a second striker. So obviously, if he would take over for Ponce, he play more of a false 9 than an actual true 9.
I'll be okay with that.
Which would work because then you have Guillermo and Bogus on either side, and all you got to do is feed those guys. Get yourself in a great spot. Get those guys going on runs and
But
feed them. And
obviously, yeah. But obviously, when you're playing with a false 9, you want to go through the middle more often, so that way you can, create for the guys coming and crashing in from the wings. And unfortunately, we don't have a middle to play with because obviously it could be because of McGlynn being out. Obviously, Arthur hasn't played this whole season. So we do have injuries and situations that have kind of hampered us. But I mean, the fact of the matter is, obviously a lot of the big players, aside from Guillermo, that we're counting on are not producing, and obviously Ponce is on top of that list. Borges is on top of that list as well. Like I said, heavy lies the crown when you come in as a DP in MLS, right? And especially when you come in as a Dynamo DP, because you know how crazy it is for us to actually get a suitable DP. When it comes to that situation. And, he came in with a lot of hype because of obviously what he was able to accomplish during his time in MLS with LAFC. But obviously LAFC is a different monster than what the Dynamo are. His time with Cruz Azul wasn't as productive because of injuries and stuff like that and differences with the coaching style. But he still lifted up trophies over there and got experience and all that good stuff. So, he's a young 24. He's, like I said, he looks the part, he plays the part, but like I said, he's just not scoring. And we need him to score or at least create for Ponce, Guillermo, and Ali, or whoever else to
He has
the ball.
goal contributions, right, Mark? Now he has a goal and assist, so maybe slow, but he didn't do well in Mexico either.
I mean, everybody's slow except for Guillermo. You know, I mean, that's the only thing. And the thing that I worry about, which I mentioned last week, was I don't want a repeat of the Albert Elise era where our opponents are all going to focus on one side of the ball, which would be Guillermo's side, and then basically saying, hey, if one of you other fools can figure out to score the ball, then okay, but we're gonna take away Guillermo for the whole game, and that's gonna look bad upon us because I mean, obviously, when you have somebody who's playing so well, and even though obviously having the disaster game that it was in Colorado, Guillermo is still out there. He's still out there running. He's still out there hustling. He understands the situation and what he was brought in to do. So I respect the fact that he came in and he's taking this opportunity seriously with MLS and the Houston Dynamo. So round of applause to Guillermo.
And look, Mark, Dwayne Holmes is doing a great job on the right side. In my opinion, he's different from Dorsey. Dorsey goes more of your going to the sideline and cutting back in and getting your crosses off. Dwayne Holmes likes to drive more middle. So there is a difference there, but neither one of them are defensive backs, period.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the defensive side of the ball from that standpoint is lackluster, to say the best, to say the least. But I mean, again, look, you brought in. I mean, obviously, the Halter, he's been out. That's another unfortunate injury that we've been having. The red cards with Antonio Carlos and then Eric and then Andrade not coming into like the third or fourth game of the season. I mean, like I said, injuries and suspensions have hampered us a lot, especially on the defensive side of the ball. But again, when do we get to the point where it's like, hey man, it's next man up and let's get it going? Like, hey, I understand that Holmes isn't the most defensive person in the world, but then again, you go and you bring back Aliou. I mean, are you going to give him the opportunity to go to move ahead of Holmes? If Aliou can give you a better defensive performance, because at the end of the day, we're scoring a little bit of goals here and there, but we're definitely getting scored on, And
right. Do you want Aliou or do you want Holmes or do you want somebody else?
I want whoever can help the defense not allow.
What is our solution right now with who we have right now? Do you want to push one of those guys on the left to the right, which I prefer Andrade go over there, because you have Negre and Vines now, who Vines finally got some good time, so that's what I would prefer. That solves that solution right there. And Andrade pushes forward as well.
But then again, it's like we're talking about again. Now you're moving people out of their preferred positions. And if
Andrade's not out of preferred.
I mean, you don't know that. We don't know that. I mean, from what I've seen, I mean, he's always been on the left for the majority side.
Dynamo.
Yeah, but I mean, how many times have you seen him on the right? Like I'm just saying. Look, because at the end of the day, if we keep moving people out of their preferred positions, we're just gonna have a bunch of players just running around, not knowing what.
Keep Ben Olsen around.
Not knowing where they're supposed to be at. And this will be the last thing I say on this. It's just it's very, very hectic time for the defensive side of the ball, where they need to stop the opposition. 11 goals in the last 3 games is horrible. 11 goals allowed in the last 3 games is a horrible, horrible number, and that's not going to get you anywhere besides the bottom of the table, and again, we're going to talk about the upcoming match against Orlando. Orlando's at the bottom of the table, but don't let them being at the bottom of the table fool you. Orlando can score the damn ball. They have a bunch of offensive players that know how to play and can score the ball. They might have a bad start to the season, but trust me, if I had to put up a hundo to who's gonna score 4 goals in this game, I'm gonna go with Orlando over Houston. So but with that being said, guys, anything you want to add, JC, about the Colorado game?
My only thing is our holding midfielders. We started Sameseku We started
Good.
Bozat. To
Good.
me, those are our biggest problems in the whole team. To me, those are my biggest
Solution?
issues. Those are my. I would prefer Herrera starting over either of those guys.
Oh.
Because
Woo!
defensively,
Okay. All right.
I just
You
don't
ready?
think those
Hold
guys.
on, hold
You
on, hold
fucking
on.
ready. You
Hold
fucking
on,
ready.
OSG. Hold on, OSG. Let our guest get his thought in.
That's all. I mean, I just don't. From what I saw in that Colorado game, now Bozat has had some good games early in the season. I was like, okay, this guy could probably hold it up. But that Colorado game, they both collapsed. They couldn't hold the ball, turnovers, couldn't come back to defend. It just was very lackluster for those two holding midfielders. I didn't like it. I didn't like it.
Let me ask you this before OSG goes on his rant about Hector Herrera. I agree with you to a certain point because I feel that Chiquis and Samaseco are way too defensive minded, right? You got basically you got two sixes, whereas Hector can play the six, but he can also play the eight, or McGlynn obviously can play the six and play the eight. I think Samaseco and Chiquis are both sixes.
But
And,
then my issue
and,
with that is they were getting beat,
well,
and a lot of those goals they weren't even
that's what I'm
back
saying.
The problem's
to the
the
play. So
defensive part
to
of them,
me, it
not
was
the
like,
offensive part.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying, because usually, and let me know if I'm wrong, but I think I'm right with this. Usually, when you have the back, like let's say for example, obviously it was supposed to be Arthur and McGlynn to start season, right? Arthur is the defensive mid, whereas McGlynn would be defensive, but he is the more offensive sided one. So if anything happens, Arthur will rotate to the middle to be that defensive anchor or that point of the arrow for the defense, where McGlynn will move up and help with the offense, right? Whereas right now with Chiquis and Samaseco, neither one of them are going to move up. They're both staying back and unfortunately crashing into each other, getting into each other's ways. And then when there's a possibility to move the ball up or press, you can't, because you don't have nobody in that spot to move up and press and push the ball forward. I think that's why, like, when we're talking about Linger possibly starting or Ponce as a false nine, where it would be difficult because we have no presence in the middle of the field. OSG, Achachi, go ahead. What's going on? What's your deal with Achachi?
No. I love that for the Open Cup. He worked it well. That's perfect for him. But
He assisted the Linger goal, by the way.
yes, on the Linger goal he did.
Yeah, he assisted on the Linger goal.
That was Markinich, I thought.
No. So I looked it up on the thing. It was actually Herrera. Markinich assisted on the Borges.
Okay. Either way, Hector, man. I mean, dude, I'm just like you don't start the guy unless you're going to pull the guy early. He's not a defensive guy. JC just questioned the defensive ability of Bozat and Samaseco. Samaseco works his ass off and is all over the friggin' place, may be caught out of position, but he tries and he works his ass off. Hector chooses his moments and will not play defense. Tries to play a little offense, will not catch him hustling, which is why I've been begging he's a role player. Do not rely on Hector Herrera. It's over with. Right? What?
But then this is where we go back
okay.
to this is where we go back to the conversation I was having with JC. Yes, obviously Hector is a little deficient on the defensive side because he's an older player now, right? But that's where you have Chiquis that's gonna help out defensively, so that way he can move up to the offensive side of the ball, And then obviously you spoke about, hey, he's not as focused offensively, whatever. But in the same time, Hector doesn't need to make that huge sprint because he knows how to pass the ball. He knows how to hold the ball and make the pass that needs to be done to get the ball to wherever he needs to. So he doesn't need to sprint 20 yards to get the ball up 20 yards. He can make a pass and get the ball up 20 yards, The same thing with going back to Samaseco. Yeah, he hustles a lot, You know who that reminds me of? Matia Veras. You remember him? Guy hustled a lot. Was really good when he was on, but when he was off, the Dynamo got scored on. You know,
Yeah,
Matias
Hey,
Veras.
but I like
Matias
that
Veras.
Samaseko's doing great on the ball. Hector, I don't know what's going on right now. And then Ponce is not doing anything. So you're like, you said, Hector, focus on the attack. Now you're taking 2 out of the defense, and we're playing 9v11 because they're pushing us, and Hector is bullshitting behind the play or whatever. It
I
sucks.
mean,
And then the question is, maybe the question is Ben, not Hector.
I mean,
Maybe
I
it's
think
just,
bullshitting is a strong word. To be honest, like I said, aside from look, everybody was bullshitting around getting beat down in Colorado, right? But
right, of course, yeah, 6-2.
what I've seen from Hector, aside from that game, I seen him involved. I seen him talking. Like I said, like when the Dynamo were dynamoing when he came in for during his first stint, and he was out there like a coach on the pitch. He's basically doing the same thing. Obviously, he's older now. He can't go as fast as he used to, and he's not being asked to do as much as he was prior in his prior stint. But he's still engaged. I think
my thing is in that Colorado game, and I'm big on
Right, Mark.
Samaseku.
Real quick.
I wanted to see more minutes out of Samaseku. Like I said, Bozat started the season well. That Colorado game, they couldn't hold the ball.
Mm-mm.
They couldn't keep the ball. What Hector is best at, and I would say up there with the only other people that could do it better than Hector would be Artur and McGlynn, is holding the ball, keeping control, finding the right pass.
Mhm.
Right, Hector, he doesn't lose the ball. Right,
No,
he
he's
might.
still super comfortable.
And so my thing in that Colorado game, that's what I kept seeing is unpressured turnovers, and then turnovers under pressure, where it was just the team couldn't get any rhythm going. Now, if he runs them back out again, I hope they have a great game. I hope they can figure it out and have some good chemistry and hold the ball, keep possession, not turn it over at that side of the field where it gives the other team a fast break. But if not, I wouldn't. I like Hector in that role, holding the ball, finding the open guy, not losing the ball. I think Hector's great at that.
Hector's our Open Cup CDM champion this year and a role player in the MLS coming off the bench to give us a spark in the last 30 minutes.
I hope.
don't mind 35 minutes.
I hope that stays.
That's fine.
I hope that stays his role. I hope
No, I don't
that's the
want him
role
to
he has
start.
all season. I don't want him either. The guys, I get it. I
People
don't
are
want to.
begging him to start.
No,
and
I'm
I
not
just want
begging
people
him.
to realize.
But
no, we're not.
if Samaseku and
people,
Bozat
not Mark.
have
That's different
Samaseku
letter.
and Bozat keep having games like they're like Colorado, if they have another game, I mean, unfortunately, you have no choice. You have to put Hector in.
Yeah.
I hope that's not the case. I hope these guys can figure it out, right? But
no, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Look, side note. OSG. I guess for some reason there's our videos now is popping up on YouTube. So I have some people text me that they're not wondering if we're gonna be on. I don't know what's going on. So just FYI. Yeah, man. So going back to Hector. Look, I understand where he's at in his career at the moment, right? Obviously we're still, hey, from the aroma of what he did during his first stint with us, the great thing he's done with us. Obviously his first season was an MVP season where, it was an MVP caliber season, obviously. So we know what the guy was able to do for us and what was capable of doing for us. And obviously he brought us a trophy as well. So, in my book, for the time that he's done and what he's done for us, he can very well go down as a Dynamo legend here if he stays a couple more years, doing whatever we ask him to do. But with that being said, you got to utilize him. The Seattle game.
I don't want less of him. I want him properly used.
The Seattle game. Why do you bring him on at the 91st minute when you could have used him that was stupid. 15 minutes prior before Seattle scores in the 83rd minute. It's just things like that. you have players that are supposedly, the whole thing I kept hearing in the beginning of the season. Man, we got a team full of captains, got real veterans, players who have been in championship moments that bring a championship pedigree and know how to win and all this and that. And honestly, I haven't seen that. These so-called captains from all over are the ones getting the red card suspended, this is and that. So it's like I'm not seeing it. But with that being said, as far as the Achi debate goes, no, I don't. Obviously, I'm not expecting Achi to start. If Achi is starting, it's because we have injuries or suspensions or whatever, and it's a disaster, and that's what it is, right?
Or we're having games like Colorado, and
Yeah.
you have to
You
like.
have to, you have to, you have to, you have
I
to
hope
mix
we
it
don't
up.
get to that point.
You have to
But
mix it up.
if we have, Samaseco and Bazat playing like they did in Colorado, I mean, I just don't see, until Artur comes back, until McLean comes back, you have no choice. You have to put him in.
Yeah. All right. I think we spent enough time on that Colorado game. But that being said, obviously this Saturday against Orlando City in Orlando at 6:30 time. Obviously they're on the eastern side of the country, so we get an hour earlier for a Dynamo game. Going against an Orlando side who, unfortunately for them, man, they had high hopes this coming in this season. Obviously, they have a huge player coming in after the World Cup in Antoine Griezmann, which we'll all be excited to see come to the league and see what he provides for the league in Orlando and all that good stuff. But at this meantime, and at this moment in time, Orlando City is not the Orlando City that we've come to know the last couple of years. They're struggling. They're struggling real bad. Oscar Pajeda was the first MLS coach fired this season. Hey, take note, Dynamo. When
they added Griffin Dorsey, and they've been giving up goals.
Hold on. Take note. When you have high expectations and that coach doesn't do what you expect him to do, it's okay to get rid of him, even if it's by game 3. So just take note, Dynamo. But anyways, with that being said,
Mark World Order.
With that being said, Orlando, I still fear is a sleeping giant. They have great players in Martin Ojeda, Persevic. Who else am I missing here? Griffin Dorsey. Griffin Dorsey, stuff like that. So I mean,
Can't be gonna score on Dorsey.
Is Dorsey gonna score on the Dynamo?
No.
JC.
On this defense, yeah.
Right.
I would, but I mean, look.
Nah, he's going up against Andrade, bro. No.
Hey,
yeah, Andrade is
the Dynamo
gonna pocket him. Yeah.
If I was Orlando and somehow the Dynamo,
I would bench Dorsey,
and somehow the Dynamo caused the penalty, I would have Griffin Dorsey take that penalty.
Yeah.
But we have to take advantage. These guys are 1-1-5. They have 4 points. Come on, they just had their coach fired.
They've lost 6-0 twice and 5-0 once.
If we cannot, come into this game and straight up pretty much kind of dominate for the most part. I know we're away from home, but dominate to a certain extent. I mean, what are we doing, right? This is the kind of games that you're supposed to, kind of get that win. I mean, I would consider a draw a disappointment, even though we're away. I mean, a draw would be a disappointment for me. So, I mean, we have to go in there immediately, play our game, stifle them, and get stat pad. That's what we need to go over there and do.
I mean, the Lions have allowed 24 goals in 7 games. That's a crazy ratio. That's 3.5 goals per game, basically. We
have a chance.
Guillermo needs to eat, man.
Sorry,
Dorsey.
But with that being said, man, I mean, I think I posed this question, and I posed it kind of sarcastically and maybe just a little bit of a fun funny question was, if the Dynamo had to play the Dynamo, what would the score be? Because obviously it's like, hey, it can either be a high scoring game or a boring dead ass game, nothing than where nobody scores because they can't score on each other. But with that being said, I mean, when you go into a atmosphere in Orlando where the air has basically been sucked out of the room, I think this team went in with intentions of being an MLS Cup contender, a dark horse, and then especially when the whole Griezmann thing started to kick up, where they were for sure gonna grab him. That they were like, oh, we're gonna hold on until Griezmann gets here, and then we're gonna be a true MLS Cup contender. But right now, they're just, hey, can we at least be formidable by the time he gets here? So that way maybe we can make a late push to the playoffs. But who knows? But with that being said, the Dynamo have to take advantage. They have to. No, it's not no, hey, possibility. We're on the road, whatever kind of excuse you want to make. Like, the Dynamo have to take advantage of this situation, or they cannot allow Orlando City to wake up on them and to basically be the jumping cables of them getting back on board to having possibly a positive season this year. We need to kick them while they're down, and we need to keep them down. We need to put a foot on their necks and score as many goals as possible, and not only score, prevent them from scoring, because the defensive side of the ball needs to look a whole lot better, because they don't look they're looking as sorry as Orlando City's defense as well. Like I said, 11 goals in the last 3 games it's no better than 24 in the last 7. So that's all I'm saying. OSG, I'll come to you about this, man. What do you want to see from this game? Like, as far as what's the main thing? Like, if you need to see this definitely to be on a more off the Ben Olsen, not my coach anymore side.
Dude, I didn't need the boys to play the game the right way, on their own way. They know each other by now. They play with each other enough. They don't need to worry about Ben's tactics and Ben's script. Play the friggin' game and throw the coach under the bus and be like, dude, this is what I'm going to do now. You know what? And bench me. You're going to start losing. You're going to be gone. I'll be back in the starting lineup real soon. So, you players that are listening to this, I'm telling you, OSG says it. Oh, soccer guy. Old. Says it. Bench the coach. Play the game the way we should play it. Change the tactics a little bit. Talk to the coach. Guerrero, Bundy. They're smart coaches. Ben, come on, bro. Change it up. You can't be so stubborn. I know things have worked in your tenure, but they haven't worked exactly every year. You have to adjust. You sucked, you won, you sucked, you won, you sucked, you won. I don't like sucking. So let's get back to the winning side of it.
I'm sorry, I had to throw that out there with you. I mean, but yeah, with that being said, I mean, it's true, man. I think it's one of those things. I don't know if a mutiny on the field is gonna happen, but obviously, we have talented guys. We have the capability. JC, what is one thing that you want to see this Saturday from the Dynamo? Obviously, aside from winning the game, that to make you feel more at ease with Ben Olsen continuing being our coach?
We figure out the defense, man. I feel like every game I'm seeing different players on that back line. I saw it last night. There's they fight, they scream at each other. What were you doing there? Why were you not there? Who covered that guy? Whose guy was that? They need to figure it out on the defensive line. I liked going into the season this new formation that he was trying out. I was positive on it. It seemed more offensive to me. But if we're just gonna get if it's gonna collapse on the every game, then we need to figure that out. That's what I want to see. Show me some consistency on the back line, some chemistry back there, and let me start seeing the same faces continuously. I like Resh. I think Resh deserves a spot somewhere back there.
He looked good
I like
against Atlanta.
Carlos. I like Carlos back there. So I don't know. I figure it out, man.
Eric
You see
might need
them.
to hit the bench.
You see them. You know, practice almost every day. You see who's really balling out there. Figure it out. I don't, I can't say because I like Siachenko, I like Andrade, I like Resh, I like Carl, I like them all, but there's not
You like
enough
everybody.
space
You
for
like
everyone. I
everybody.
like everybody, but figure it out. You need to have a unit back there that can work well together and give us some clean sheets.
So let me ask you this. Obviously, pointing out the defense. That's obviously a high note because obviously, if they're not scoring goals on you, then there's no way they can win, right? So, what if you were to name one player? What player on the defensive side of the ball do you think needs to really step up?
Oof. Damn it. I don't know because I don't know who's gonna play the next game. But Andrade has been consistent. Andrade has been consistently in the lineup. He's scored. He's done some goal contributions. I just if and he's good defensively. If you can be that rock in the back line, I need a center back to step up. That's my thing. I need a center back to pop up, be that consistent guy every game. That I don't know who it is. Sviatchenko, Carlos, Resh, but one of them needs to freaking show up every game and be that rock, be that leader that we need. No mistakes. Yeah, that's what we need. OSG, who is it? You're screaming
It's
at me.
Eric.
Who is it?
It's Eric. It's Eric. Eric needs to step up. Eric is older, and obviously we're dependent on him a lot. But in this situation, he needs to step up more because we don't have a solution for him. Rish, just at Seton Hall just 6 months ago, is his relief. So Eric needs to step up more. We're not done with him yet, so he needs to step up more before
Halter comes
we
back.
find his solution.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think the formidable three would be Andrade, Carlos, and Halter when he gets back healthy, right? But
Right,
obviously,
yeah.
Halter being out, it goes back, it falls back on Shevchenko where he needs to step up, and obviously, him being a former captain of ours and a former leader, he knows what is needed and what is asked of him, and he just needs to get on board. I mean, obviously, I'm not gonna put it all on him. I mean, Antonio Carlos
Right.
has
Perfect.
that as well, and him being our captain, he really needs to take the bull by the horns and show leadership back there and have some pride and not be beat and not get beaten so bad, So, but obviously, like I said, I hope that this Saturday we continue to pin down Orlando and they don't wake up on us and do what Orlando's capable of doing. So we'll come to predictions. OSG, I'll come with you first because I want to see what JC says afterwards. What's your prediction for this? What's your predictions for this Saturday, 6:30 in Orlando?
Look, even though we play better on the road in recent history, under Ben Olsen, Dorsey's going to be aggressive in this game. I'm going to go with a stupid-ass 2-2 draw. Both could have me in, and I'll both score because, like you said, the left side is going to be dominant. Dorsey's going to give up both goals. I hope one of them he gives up a penalty kick. And then Dorsey most likely going to brace on us. Fuck nay. So 2-2.
Oh wow! I love the animation, OSG. That's why I love having you as a co-host, my guy. I love what you bring to the table, man. I love that the fact that
Apologies.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good, man. We just might not be able to air this on YouTube that much because of all the efforts.
It's all right. We haven't gotten jinxed yet.
JC, your predictions, man. Your first prediction on Noodle Time. What do you think the Dynamo will do this Saturday at 6:30 in Orlando?
Bring the flavor.
I'm hopeful on the defensive side, but it's not going to happen. Come on. We're not going to get a clean sheet. So what am I kidding? So, Orlando's going to score 2. right? They're going to score 2.
Okay.
But we're going to score 3, baby. So,
there you go.
So I got that W. It's not going to be, it's not going to be pretty. It's going to be it's going to be dirty. I don't know. Who knows how many red cards there might be in this game, but I think we get out 3-2.
Who scores your goal?
Guillermo, Enali, and then Ponce comes through.
Oh, I like
God.
that.
Oh my God! And then Ponce comes through with the third one, like the winner. The winner? No friggin' way.
I hope if that's the case, people can get off his nutsack for a little bit, because I mean,
he'll get a few weeks, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
He'll get a break.
I hope a week.
Well, Mark, that's what we do here. We bring it for real. We tell it like it is. So if you're doing bad, you're doing bad. You're doing good. So if he finishes, we will make sure he knows about it.
For sure. Unfortunately, so OSG has a 2-2 tie. JC has a 3-2 win. Unfortunately, guys, I'm gonna have to go with an 0-2 with a 0-2 loss.
Oh,
yeah, man. I'm sad. I'm sad to say that we all are gonna have it right as far as the Orlando City scoring 2 goals. Unfortunately, for our standpoint, from my standpoint, we're not gonna score any, and that's gonna be a bad look. And
against the worst defense in the league.
And I hope. I'm glad you mentioned that. Against the worst defense in the league, we're gonna score no goals.
I know what you're going for.
Lose again, and I hope that the Dynamo can take a page off Orlando City's book and finally get rid of Ben Olsen.
I mean, that would be an embarrassing result.
Hold on, JC, let him go. He's got a monologue.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say it here and always say and say with this. Obviously, thank you, Ben Olsen, for everything that you've done for the Dynamo and your tenure here. You brought us out from 12 feet deep and brought us out to be a respectable club, a playoff club, a U.S. Open Cup holder, and all that good stuff. But as with every great coach, every good coach, or every average coach, and every shitty coach, when your time comes, and this is your time. I don't see any way possible that if this team has any type of ambition to actually be successful this season, that if the Dynamo come out this Saturday with a loss, and if it's a bad loss, it's how Ben Olsen has continued to be given the opportunity to lead this club going forward. If he is, which I wouldn't doubt that he still would be given the opportunity to continue to lead. That just shows me the ambition of this club, and it's basically telling me there is no ambition. This is who it is. This is what it's gonna be, and regardless of what happens, we're either gonna sink with him going down the Titanic, or somehow he proves everybody wrong, and we're all eating crows. But I don't see how he can make it out if the Dynamo lose this Saturday against Orlando City. Obviously, like I said, the U.S. Open Cup win is a nice little blip, but the U.S. Open Cup tournament it is what it is. It's a nice little tournament, whatever. Obviously, like I said, I like the fact that they put a lot of focus in it, because at the end of the day, it gives us an opportunity to be qualified for the Champions Cup. But at the end of the day, MLS is the priority, and we're doing shitty at home. We're doing shitty on the road. Last season was our worst ever season at home statistically. This season has not been any better. We've had 4 home games already, and we've lost 2 already. No, 5. I'm sorry, 5. Has it been 5? 5 home games. We've lost 3. We won 2. So it's not a good look. So, honestly, this is what I'm saying to you guys. If the Dynamo loses Saturday, if Ben Olsen is still the coach next week, next Noodle Time, we might have to have a conversation about the front office and this leadership team, this ownership group,
Look,
because
Mark, I expect Ben. I expect Ben, if things continue. First off, the front office hasn't said anything about Ben being in the hot seat whatsoever, and he hasn't mentioned it whatsoever, of course. So it's been the media and the fans that are talking about Ben being in the hot seat. But if I expect anything to happen, I expect it to happen before the World Cup happens, during that break. It could happen now, like you said. It could happen now, like you said, because you have a great coaching staff sitting behind, and you can let them be interns. Because when you bring somebody else in, you're likely losing that entire coaching staff to begin with, also. But that's worth the risk. I would love to keep Kenny Bundy. I'd love to keep Juan Guerrero. Maybe they could be the friggin' head coach next, and Ben Olsen's gone. It sucks, but if Ben cannot do something in these next two games against Orlando, we're against the worst team in the league right now, and then Louisville and Open Cup at home. Yes,
you're skipping the San Diego game at home, but the thing is,
that's right. Yeah, that is. Yeah, that's true.
The thing is, and I'll come to you, JC, because I want to hear from a fan standpoint about this situation, right? But the thing about it is, like I said, I get it. I know Olsen has done a lot. I know there's been a lot of obstacles as far as injuries, suspensions, and things like that nature. But just look at the Orlando City thing, right? With Oscar Pajeda. Oscar Pajeda won them a U.S. Open Cup. Basically, I mean, they've had deep playoff runs. The past 3 seasons underneath Oscar, and even with all that, they were opening MLS season this season against Inter Miami, winning 2-0 and then ended up losing 2-4. Okay, fine. It's Inter Miami's a defending champs, whatever it is, what it is, right? The next game, they get pounded. Dude, what's going on? Third game, pounded again. You know what, Oscar? Thank you. You brought us our first major trophy. Blah blah blah. But hey, we can't. We have expectations because we put money behind this. We have quality players. We have players like Martin Ojeda, Perspic. We're signing Griezmann here after the World Cup. We have a expectation this season, and unfortunately, for whatever reason, you started off way bad. Thank you for your services, sir. On to the next one. The Dynamo front. I'm sorry, JC. The Dynamo front office have to have that mindset. Like, dude, we need to be an ambitious club that doesn't get tied up in friendships or damn, he did this for us. We got to give him this leash or whatever. I mean, at the end of the day, how long can this leash be? Are we ready to say that we're ready to give up back-to-back seasons? And basically go back and basically go back. Yeah. Are we ready to say that? JC, I want to hear from you, my guy.
No. I mean, that shouldn't be the case. I think if you see the direction the club is going and it's just downward, it's a downward trend, and let's say your scoreline is what we see on Saturday, and like you guys pointed out, the worst defense in the league, and we can't get stuff done even then. It's I'm not a Ben defender, but any Ben defenders out there would have a hard time defending that. When
Ben defender,
so
I like that.
So you need now ideally you have someone in line. A lot of these big clubs do that. They have the day after the announcement of the firing, they announce the new hire, who's whoever this coach is. Ideally, you want to have that next guy in line who's going to come in and be that next step up as a coach. I mean, do I want an interim coach? No. I don't want an interim coach, but if that's what you have to do, I guess. But
I only say
ideally, the
intern for
situation.
legality clauses. You can't go hire somebody else when you got a coach in line. You got to do it in secret, and you don't want to get caught doing it.
No, I
So
mean,
that's why I said interim, and you have the World Cup coming up with a break. So use the fire Ben right now. Use the interim right now. World Cup comes, you find the coach, you get him in place, and then when the World Cup ends, you have your coach to start off and maybe make that run at the end of this season, go into the short season, and then everything's brand new. You're in promotion and relegation now.
I mean, you mentioned it earlier, OSG. We have about 7 games in the next 21 days, right? We got
yes.
We got against Orlando. We got against San Diego, who obviously we know what San Diego are. We got against Austin at home. We've only won once in Austin, right? We got. Give me a second. Let me look at the
Louisville at home.
We got Colorado. We got LAFC. We got Real Salt Lake. We got Vancouver, who Vancouver is killing it right now. And we got LA Galaxy, which obviously LA Galaxy is always we don't know which LA Galaxy we're gonna get. You mentioned, maybe the leash is until the World Cup. I mean, but by then, I mean, if out of these next 7 games we only won 1 or 2 of them, then
you could be throwing the season.
Then that's basically the season, because
I did say firing him now.
But like you have that World Cup break, a long break, and it's basically another restart, and it's like, you don't know what kind of morale you're gonna get. At least now, if they lose against Orlando and they get rid of him, right? And let's say they give it to Bundy or Guerrero, whoever they think is worthy of whatever for the interim, whatever. Cool, you give those guys a chance for an interim, whatever, 1 or 2 games, whatever. But I would be talking to. I mean, look, I posted it on our Discord. Glenn Davis, who obviously we all know from as a Dynamo announcer and on his radio show, he listed like 6 guys with MLS credentials and 4 of those guys were MLS Cup winners. Like, these guys are available to us. These guys are available.
Bring them in.
So it's like, why are we so enamored with keeping Olsen? Like, I mean, yes, he brought us a U.S. Open Cup, but so did what's his name, Wilmer Cabrera. Like, why are we so enamored with keeping somebody who helped? Yes, thank you for what he did, but at the end of the day, like I said, if we keep him and this season turns out to be shit again, so we have back-to-back shit seasons, you basically wiped out all the good grace that we given that you had.
Agreed.
So, Mark, you just asked Pat a very good question, and Pat, I hope you can answer it. Asher, I hope you can answer it. Why are we keeping Ben around this long? He came in, he did his job, he got us out of the turmoil, he brought us to where we needed to be. Trust the process. We trusted the process. Now we need to move on from the process and get to that next level, and that's what we're waiting for. We're holding on to Ben too long, and maybe that's going to put Ben or Pat in his own hot seat at the same time, but I'm with you, Mark. Let's make the decision now. You suck, you lose, you're going to go home.
Yeah, I mean, to take the famous words from the late great Michael Jackson, man, you got to look at the man in the mirror,
Yeah.
And while Ben was a subpar coach with DC United, right? Okay, cool. He lifted up the U.S. Open Cup. He went to a couple playoff games, whatever. I mean, dude, he had Wayne Rooney and Lucho Acosta and didn't really do nothing with them. He did the same thing with us, right? U.S. Open Cup, couple of playoff seasons, great. He's a great coach for what he's able to do. He built us back up and got us back up to being relevant. But do I think Ben Olsen is a championship caliber coach? I don't think so, man. I don't think so.
And
with all due respect to him, I don't think so.
And he's had time to get the players he wants, right? He's had time to buy the guys that he wants to bring in. So to say, he's had transfer windows to make moves, and Pat has gotten guys that he's wanted. So there's really no excuse for us to
He's
be
not
where
a
we're at
player's
right now.
coach, and he's not going to get the best out of you in no regard whatsoever. He's just a good coach that puts it out there, and you play to what you can do, and you do it on your own, and you're on your own because he doesn't do anything else after that. So that's why we need to improve and move on.
I mean, obviously, we can spend another hour on this topic.
No, we don't have time.
It's a topic that obviously it's either gonna heat up next week if we end up on the negative side of the score sheet this Saturday, or it might be a thing that cools down if we come out with a great performance like we did against El Paso. So who knows? But we'll be here next Thursday to speak about it. But with that being said, OSG, let the people know where they can find us, man.
Every day, all day, at Dynamic Foxtrot on any platform that you'd like to listen to any of your podcasts, anywhere you can go. Foxtrot TV on YouTube, right here live, where you can see our ugly fucking faces and, our ugly mugs, and hear us talk about the noodles and eat the noodles and get into it because we're angry right now. I'm angry right now, so that's why we talk about it. But at Dynamic Foxtrot, Noodle Tempio on X, everything, IG, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. But at Dynamic Foxtrot, bro.
OSG, while JC is going after with his outro, can you take a look at how many subscribers we're away from 400, if you don't mind?
No, sir. You're not.
Oh, you can't?
No, I'm just kidding.
JC, man, I appreciate you coming in, filling in on the third seat. Man, hopefully this is the first of many. Just your final thoughts, man, and obviously thank you for joining us. And hey, I have one question for you. Obviously, you're the Surge's go-to DJ, man. What's the go-to song for to get a party started, man, for you?
Oof, go-to song. I will say,
like 3 of them, JC. Come on, bro.
You can do some cumbia, man. You can do some cumbia at any moment, anytime, and people are gonna take a quick chug and start dancing. So any cumbia works.
Old school.
Yeah. I'm Public Enemy 59 almost everywhere. Follow me. Surge, you can follow the Surge at the Surge SG everywhere. Join up, $25 whole year. It's cheap. You get into Discord. You get all the you learn everything that's going on. Saturday, Orlando will be at Eureka Heights watch party. It's gonna be tight. They're giving us. I'm sure they're gonna give us some free beer, some pictures. So come on through, watch the game with us, and either watch a great performance by the Dynamo or the complete shit show. That it could possibly be. But either way, it's gonna be entertaining. We'll have some drinks. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure, guys. Obviously, OSG, if you can show off that shirt as well. Surge have some great merch. That shirt is amazing. SWO, Surge World Order. Obviously, again, thank you, JC, for joining us. OSG, appreciate you for hosting and handling the admin duties. But with that being said, guys, like I said, look, we had a bad Saturday. We had a great Wednesday. We'll see what happens this Saturday, but regardless of what happens, we're always going to hold it down for H-Town. Go Dynamo, go Dash, go Dynados. Let's go H-Town. Let's get it.
H is up. We're back to live next week.
Back to live next week. Stay noodle.